What's up, everybody? Just here doing a quick entertainment news and rundown for the week, and a quick review on Solar Opposites. You know, that new show from Justin Roiland. So check it out. Let me know what you guys think. I'm also going to do a quick review on the movie Bloodshot for all my comic book fans out there. A couple quick hits. I'm not going to do too much elaboration on some of this news. I'm just going to run through it fast. Hit me up with some messages or shoot me an email, whatever, anytime. And yeah, so let me get into it. So one of the news, entertainment news things is Mad Max prequel Furiosa is happening supposedly, but supposedly it's not going to happen with the same star, Charlize Theron. I think it might be someone else. I'm not sure. Not going to delve into that too deep. Not sure if they're looking for a younger person so that they can build a franchise or what. But yeah, that's one of the news items out there. And then another one is I think Tenet is getting pushed to be released at the theater by Christopher Nolan. He really wants to make sure that movie comes out at the theater. So that's another one there. So it's also interesting because I think it's going to gauge to see how well theaters are going to do when movies come back. So we'll see how that goes. And then I think The Rock and Emily Blunt, they're going to take their superhero movie Ball and Chain to Netflix. That's comic book adaptation. And yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into that one. I think it's getting more clear and clear that properties and items and intellectual properties are getting moved to streaming sites based on the current situation, just so they can have seems like some kind of audience and to help the wide release of it. So yeah, that's another quick movie news, entertainment news item. And another one I heard is Percy Jackson live action TV show. I think it's coming to Disney Plus. I actually liked the first movie. I thought it was pretty good. It's completely different kind of young adult story based on myths, old Greek myths, which is a cool take, modernized take, obviously. I'm sure I could do a whole podcast about Clash of the Titans or, some of the other Sinbads, the Odyssey, those kind of films, the Ray Harryhausen film from back in the day. But yeah, it's cool. So that's another one. And I think one other thing I wanted to mention is there's rumors of a Scarface remake at Universal. I'm kind of 50-50 on this. I do agree with a lot of people that there is some films that should just not be remade. Definitely some that can be remade, but I don't know. I don't know about Scarface. I think it's one of those films that it's difficult to touch because it's so well made. It's up there with like Back to the Future, The Goonies to me. Those are those kind of films that are they're kind of classic films that are difficult. I don't see how they could be remade effectively because there's such a huge fan base for it already that they'll get murdered by fans online, just like Ghostbusters did. So yeah, it's kind of difficult. So that's another rumor out there. The other quick news item is that The Matrix 4 is looking to return to production by July. So I don't know if everyone knew or not, they're making another Matrix film. So that's interesting in of itself. See where that story goes from there. I don't know if it's a prequel. I don't know if it's a sequel. I don't know what they're thinking with that, but it looks like they're trying to get production started again in July for that film. So that's pretty much it for my quick rundown on movies and TV shows and news this week. So I'm just jump into a quick review of first season of Solar Opposites, man. Just say right off the bat, I dig it. It's hilarious. I was cracking up. It's definitely got that feel of Rick and Morty. just like it's made from the same people. Justin Roiland, the guy he's doing the voice of a character called Corvo on this show, and Tom Middleditch is doing Terry. Those are kind of like the two main ones to me. And Tom Middleditch is pretty famous from Silicon Valley, and Justin Roiland is pretty famous from Rick and Morty. He also did a voice on Adventure Time. He did some voices for Gravity Falls. Dude is pretty hilarious, pretty funny. And then Sean Jambroni is also on there. He does the voice of I don't want to say this name wrong. It's Yumulak. I think that's one of the aliens on there. And then they have another actor on there who does. Her name is Mary Mack. I think she does the voice of Jessie. So those are kind of like the four main characters. And it's hilarious, man. It's really, really funny. It's based on, a family of aliens who are like refugees because their planet got exploded, and they land on Earth, and they got to make the best of it. To me, it is, without thinking about it too much, very similar to the Coneheads in a way. How you get Beldar and his family, and they get separated and end up on Earth, and they got to make the best of that situation. Although their home planet didn't get destroyed, it's similar to me in that way. It's kind of like a modern, hilarious take, on aliens getting left on another planet. So far, man, it's really, really funny. I'll say spoilers right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The show runs on Hulu, and it is not for young people, I think. Maybe 18 and up kind of show for sure, because there's some profanity in there. It's a short first season. I think it's like 8 episodes. Without getting into it too much, without spoiling it too much, but I'll give you a rundown of some of the episodes are about. The first one is kind of like the intro to the show, talking about how they stayed on Earth and they escaped the destruction of their planet, and kind of adjusting to life on Earth. Like the two kids, the younger aliens, they're going to school, and then the other main alien, Corvo, is always trying to fix the ship so they can get off of Earth. And that's kind of like the start of the show. That's like the first episode, and kind of shows you how they settle into that stuff. And then they also have as you get into the show, you see there's like a running gag with the technology that they use on humans and stuff. So like they end up one of the kids always shrinks people, and he puts them in like this giant wall zoo where he puts all the mini people that he shrunk with his gun into the wall, and basically has them there just like as a display, almost like as if you had like a little terrarium and you were looking at lizards or some insects or something, and he just has it on his wall there. And that ends up being like a running hilarious gag on the show, where they end up calling it, the people that live inside that wall that he's shrunk becomes its own little ecosystem, and they call it the wall, basically, is what they call it. And it ends up being similar to Escape from New York, because there's a guy in there that calls himself the Duke, who pretty much runs everything inside the wall. So that's a whole nother hilarious part of that show. And yeah, man, I definitely dig it. I think it's pretty funny so far. It's something you guys should check out if you're into Rick and Morty, for sure, into more fast-paced kind of cartoons, faster dialogue, that kind of thing. I think it's pretty hilarious. You should definitely check it out. And one thing I didn't mention, I think the character that plays the Duke on the wall is played by Alfred Molina, so that's crazy. They definitely got some great actors on the show so far doing voice work. And yeah, definitely check it out, man. Definitely worth seeing if you guys can, if you have Hulu. I can stream all 8 episodes are available, and it's totally worth seeing. I think right now it's got a pretty solid review rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like 96% or something like that. It's crazy. But just for Justin Roiland and Tom Hiddleston, on that show together, it's worth the watch if you guys get a chance to see it. And that's about it. I don't want to ruin it too much. I'll just kind of give a couple quick points, quick rundowns, and let me know what you guys think. So, Bloodshot for you guys. So it's a superhero movie starring Vin Diesel. I think it's directed by Dave Wilson. And it stars among Vin Diesel, Isa Gonzalez, and Sam Hagen, and I think what's this guy's name? Is the villain in the film? Guy Pearce plays Dr. Mel Harding, and spoilers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you've never seen this film, it's not like. You don't go into it thinking it's going to be like a movie from MCU, because it's for one, it's not a Marvel movie, and 2, it's just different, man. It's let's put it in that category of films like The Shadow, Darkman. Them one-off characters that are part of a different comic book universe, not Marvel, not DC. Bloodshot is a Valiant Comics character. In the original, I think Bloodshot comic was from 1992. There's not some big time similarities between the movie and the comic, put it that way. They're like very different. The character in the comic looks completely different from the character Vin Diesel is playing. The only similarity I would say is that they sometimes have the iconic red circle on their chest. In the movie, but not like they do in the comic. I think I said before, 1992 was the first time Bloodshot appeared. I think he made a cameo appearance. I think it's Eternal Warrior #4 for Valiant Comics, and he was created by Kevin Van Hook, Don Perlin, and Bob Layton. His character, delving into the origin of the character. I guess you could say it's similar to Captain America in a way, where they are working on this program in the military to build like a soldier, and they end up using like nanotechnology to power Bloodshot, and it makes him pretty much like he has artificial intelligence system in his body. It can heal him really fast, makes him super strong. It also allows him to like shapeshift some of his mass and interface with technology. So that's like some of the stuff from the character, that was in the comic book. But obviously in the movie they don't really get into any of that. They kind of show you some of it. How they made this guy, how he is, his backstory a little bit, which is, if you've read the comics, a fake backstory that they keep implanting in his mind just so they can use him for missions. So it's sort of messed up, and basically it ends up being a revenge film against the people that created me or did this to me kind of thing. And I don't know what it is with Sony hero films, man. Like, it has that same thing that Venom has. Spoilers if you haven't seen Venom 1, 2, 3, where it spends too much time on inconsequential pieces of a story instead of getting to the meat of the story and telling you what this is about and giving you the action that you want to see. Because when we as comic book fans, we want to see the things that we remember from the comic, like what the character does and the interactions they have, those kind of things. So definitely the movie would be helped with more of that stuff in it. But if you're like me, I've probably seen every movie based on a comic, even if it's terrible. Fantastic Four, original movie, TV movie. Don't tell anybody. But you have some kind of hope when you go into watching these movies. And I mean, if you guys are like me and you're gonna watch it anyway, just because you're a comic book fan, just go into it realizing that it's probably not gonna be exactly what you remember of that character if you're a big fan of that character. So just wanted to kind of give a quick thoughts on the movie. I'm not giving away big plot points on what exactly happens in the film. Just kind of go over the characters, actors, that are in the film. So I'll do a quick rundown of the characters, that are in it. Obviously, Vin Diesel's playing Ray Garrison, who's Bloodshot. Isa Gonzalez is playing KT, another enhanced person. I can't pronounce this dude's last name. Sam Wigan is playing Jimmy Dalton. Toby Kebbell has a brief part in there. He's playing Martin X. I love Toby Kebbell, man. That dude he was great in Rock and Rolla. He was great in Planet of the Apes. He was always one of the apes in there. Dude is an awesome actor, man. I haven't seen anything that he's been in that I didn't like. So, unfortunately, he's not in this that much. But those are the main people in it. Obviously, Guy Pearce is the villain in there, playing Dr. Emil Harding. I think I said that earlier. And that's Johannesson is playing Nick Barris. That guy plays a pretty good villain. He was in Black Hat with Chris Hemsworth. If you guys haven't seen that, that's actually a decent flick. And Alex Hernandez plays Tibbs, which is like another enhanced human. So that is a rundown of the cast and the characters they play in the movie. Take from that what you will. The last thing I will say is, I'm a big Vin Diesel fan, man. I've been a Vin Diesel fan ever since Pitch Black. Actually, freaking Iron Giant. Saving Private Ryan. And it kind of followed his career, So I ain't gonna front. I'm a big Vin Diesel fan, but this film just wasn't the one. I don't think for him. Might have been better to cast someone that was an unknown actor in this role, and it might have gave the film a better shot. So that's one thing that studios need to start looking at doing a little more often too, is giving these superhero movies, give them a new actor to shine, man. Because sometimes it's not always best to give a superstar that role. Sometimes those stars need different roles that they're better in, and especially for something new to try to kick off a franchise. Build it with someone young and unknown so that they can get their name out there, and then you can grow with that character, with that actor. So that's just my thought on Bloodshot. If you guys got any questions or comments on any of the entertainment news or the reviews of Solar Opposite or Bloodshot, let me know. Drop me a line, leave me a message. And that's it for this week, y'all. Peace out.